It's Monday, June 15, and this is your Barbados Today Evening News Update. Thousands of Class 4 students returned to school today after weeks of virtual instruction. With strict protocols in place, including the sanitizing of hands and bags as they enter school, physical distancing, and the wearing of masks, the students settled down easily to their preparations for the 11+ exams scheduled for next month. At Charles F. Broome Memorial, Dr. Monica Walton said it was a smooth start for her 100 students.
What we've done, we've brought in our students in groups of 3, and on Tuesdays, all children will come to school, all Class 4s, to do their testing. We adhere to the physical distancing. We have about 10 between 9 and 10 children in each room. We have 10 classrooms prepared for tomorrow. There are about 100 students that we will be accommodating in total. 100, yes. And pretty much they're settled. They're adhering to all the protocols, and they're doing well.
Meanwhile, Charles F. Broome teacher Stefan Walker told Barbados Today it was a joy to receive his charges.
These children have been preparing for months, and I mean, nothing can take away from face-to-face instruction. It is one thing to impart knowledge to an online setting, however, back home and to see the children in physical setting is also a different experience, because at the end of the day, So at the end of the day, we want to, ensure that these children are fully prepared for what is ahead. So it is indeed a relaxing feeling. I know that parents are a little hesitant or they have their fears, but I assured my parents that, we are going to do our best to ensure that they are safe and that we will exercise all the protocols that have been established to ensure that these children just do the best in the right setting.
Over at the private St. Ursula's Primary, students were greeted with a warm welcome.
This is their first day, so they're really excited to be back. They're only going to be here for 3 hours, and our intention is that they'll be here for 3 days of the week where they have one-on-one with their teacher, and the other 2 days will be online. We're fortunate enough that we were able to fit them in one area, which is our hall, and they're all spaced out 6 feet apart.
Are the parents allowed to come in, or they have to?
We have asked the parents to drive in, and as they drive in, they drop off, and they leave. If they have any business to do with the office, which some of them would, they would park in a designated area and then go to our offices. But we're all trying to follow the COVID protocols, but also we missed our students, so we're really happy to see them. So we had to put up some inspirational signs for them as a welcome to know that, it's been a long haul here without them, because our days are usually very busy with them around. So we're really thankful that everybody's well and that we were able to welcome them all back.
In other news, it was also a day of new beginnings for several new entrepreneurs who will get the chance to roll out their businesses under the government's Building Blocks program in another month. This morning, Youth and Community Empowerment Minister Adrian Ford toured 4 sites where final preparations are being made to roll out the initiative intended to provide young people with employment. At Silver Hill in Christchurch, Minister Ford said he's happy with the investment in the nation's young people.
And I want to thank them for walking the journey with us. We have a simple message for our young people. When you stop doing the wrong things, the right things will have an opportunity to catch up. In this country, young persons must have the Usain Bolt moment with the right things. That is the message. And this project will also become part of government's counter-cyclical measure in terms of employing and empowering persons across this country in terms of employment post-COVID. We have to get our young people working again. The levels of unemployment is a concern to me, certainly as Minister of Youth, and this entire government. And we will do everything to ensure that young persons have a tangible stake in this community. The stalls belong to them. The surroundings, they work hard to ensure that it becomes aesthetically pleasing, that there is a level of comfort. It brightens the community. This is the dedication that we are talking about from our young people.
Corey Kelman from the Silver Hill community could hardly contain his excitement. The grateful budding entrepreneur says he's ready to get down to business.
I gotta take this, man. I have never had no one come and put something in place for me that I could just get money to feed my family. That's the truth. And I see it as is a giveaway to me. Yeah? And I'm very thankful for it. I can try my best. I made this my house. To be honest, I can try my best to do everything top with that. Now in the future, I'm operating a touchless car detailing business.
Explain touchless.
Touchless is power wash, is soap, power wash, and a blower, not a chamois, because some people don't like the high-end cars touch up. So it's a blower, can blow off your water, 10 minutes. And I wouldn't even touch your car. So that's my aim, and get all these ZRs on this route, and even on Route 11, that on a night, I can have at least 20. I'm looking at that is progress for me. Right?
In other news this Monday, murder accused 20-year-old Javon Rommel Haynes and 27-year-old Julius DeMario Eiffel were today remanded to Her Majesty's Prison Dodds. Haynes of Syndicate Road, Bush Hall, and Eiffel of Richards Land, Bush Hall, St. Michael, appeared in the District 8 Magistrates Court, charged with the murder of Kadeem Brathwaite. Brathwaite, formerly of Spooners Hill, St. Michael, was shot on June 7th while he was at Pioneer Road, Bush Hall. The accused were not required to plead to the indictable charges. They will reappear in court on July 13. In today's COVID-19 update, Barbados' COVID-19 cases moved to 97. A 49-year-old Barbadian woman returning home from a cruise liner on which she worked was the lone positive test among 174 others tested yesterday. The woman, who arrived home on a charter flight last Saturday, was swabbed on arrival at the Grantley Adams International Airport and immediately went into quarantine at the St. Lucie District Hospital. Since the diagnosis, she has been transferred to the isolation facility at Harrison Point, St. Lucie. The number of people in isolation remains at 7. Since no one was released from isolation today, recoveries remain at 83 and deaths at 7. The Best de Santos Public Health Laboratory has now completed 6,732 tests.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Barbados Today, news you can trust.
To regional news, the CARICOM Observer Mission to Guyana declares the recount of the ballots cast in the March 2 regional and general elections as credible and urges the Guyana Elections Commission to declare the winner. We get the details from Newsroom Guyana.
The 3-member CARICOM team departed Guyana Monday after submitting their damning report to GCOM. In the report, the CARICOM team noted that nothing prevents the chairman of the Guyana Elections Commission from declaring the results of the recount, which has shown a victory for the People's Progressive Party. The team, in its report, stated, and I quote, "The national recount process, then, despite some of its minor flaws, is not an indictment of the 2020 polls, and the team categorically rejects the concerted public efforts to discredit the 2020 polls up to the disastrous Region 4 tabulation. Despite our concerns, nothing that we witnessed warrants a challenge to the inescapable conclusion that the recount results are acceptable and should constitute the basis of the declaration of the results of the March 2nd, 2020 elections. Any aggrieved political party has been afforded the right to seek redress before the courts in the form of an elections petition." End quote. The CARICOM team acknowledged that while there were some defects in the recount, the team did not witness anything which would render the recount, and by extension, the casting of the ballot on March 2nd, so significantly deficient to have thwarted the will of the people and subsequently prevented the election's results and its declaration by GCOM from reflecting the will of the voters. The actual count of the vote was indeed transparent, the CARICOM team noted.
On the international front, America's top court has ruled that employers who fire workers for being gay or transgender are breaking the country's civil rights laws. In a 6-3 decision, the Supreme Court said federal law, which prohibits discrimination based on sex, should be understood to include sexual orientation and gender identity. More now from Reuters Television.
In a watershed victory for LGBTQ rights, the Supreme Court Monday ruled that federal law protecting workers from discrimination on the basis of sex also applies to gay and transgender people. In a 6-3 decision, the justices ruled Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964, which bars companies from discriminating on the basis of gender, as well as race, color, national origin, and religion, also applies to members of the LGBTQ community. Writing the majority opinion, conservative Justice Neil Gorsuch, who wrote, quote, "Ours is a society of written laws. An employer who fires an individual merely for being gay or transgender defies the law." The 3 justices that dissented, Brett Kavanaugh, Clarence Thomas, and Samuel Alito. LGBTQ advocacy groups welcome the landmark decision as an important step in protecting gay and trans workers, more than half of whom live in states without explicit workplace protections, something Monday's ruling now extends to all gay and trans people nationwide.
That's news, but for the very latest, visit our website at www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, or like us on Facebook, and sign up for our breaking news alerts via WhatsApp. We're also on Izumi Media and bus terminals, as well as screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. You can also hear us on Mix 96.9 FM and Capital Media HD 99.3 FM.